Today I am here with a rather interesting Steinway B. Now this piano here comes from 1917, which is about at the end of the First World War, and I will show you the serial number as well as the visual differences between a piano from this era as well as a modern piano, because it's kind of fun to look at the inside of a piano as well as the case and say, oh, I think that piano is from roughly this time period, and there's different ways to tell that with Steinway pianos. Now the first thing that might indicate to you that this is something a little bit different is the wood color. Now I believe this is mahogany, and particularly on this side here on the board and the music desk, it has a really awesome grain color. Let's see what it looks like on the side. Yeah, it has a more straight kind of grain pattern, but you can see down here it has a bit more complexity to it, and it has that really dark, rich red color that mahogany has. I'm pretty sure it's mahogany. It's a very, very lovely color. If you look down here at the legs, we have some simple but very nice carvings here on the legs. I don't know exactly what you'd call them. Obviously that's a square, but I don't know what that style of carving is. But it has some very simple, basic, but also very nice carvings on the legs. They make them a little more interesting, but they don't draw too much attention to them, which is kind of cool. Now, if we take a look at the inside here of the piano, we can see a few differences from a new piano than an old piano. Now, the first thing you might notice about the piano is the soundboard. It's not that light, pale wood color anymore, because this is actually the original soundboard from 1917. So it kind of has, it's been darkened over the years, which is normal for woods, and over the years it just kind of gathered a nice natural patina. And it has a really wonderful, rich sound to it, which I will demonstrate to you in just a bit after I take you on a tour of the inside of the piano. So that's one way you can tell if this piano is old also, because the case, fancy cases like this aren't done so much anymore. They still exist, but not very commonly. Now, the other way you can tell that this is an older piano is because of the style of the harp. Now, if you look here, these holes in the harp are called portholes. And as you can see around the portholes, we have these nubs. And in some pianos they're kind of shaped like bullets, and others they're shaped like flowers. But in Steinways, these nubs were around the turn of the century. This one here is from 1917. And by 1920, these nubs on these portholes have disappeared. So if a Steinway is made after 1920, these portholes will still be there, but the nubs around them will not be there. And so if you look at the inside of a Steinway and you see these nubs, you can know that it is definitely before 1920. You can also see this large Steinway badge here, which is not put on modern Steinways anymore either. The Steinway & Sons with their logo, New York, Hamburg, and then registered U.S. Patent Office. There's also some text down here at the harp as well. Tubular metallic action frame patent, and there's also some more down here that says Steinway Foundry Casting. And it's a little bit dark down there, so the camera's having a bit of trouble focusing, but you can see that there is writing down here, which also is not done on modern Steinway pianos. We can also see that there's little like buttons, kind of like larger versions of those nubs on the very edge of the harp, which is also not done anymore. I haven't seen that before, and if I have seen it, I just simply didn't notice it. So there's probably a year that they cut those out of the pianos as well, maybe during 1920 when they removed the nubs from the harp design, or possibly before as well. So those are just some ways to be able to date a piano and tell when it was made simply just by looking at it. And I think that's kind of fun to be able to guess when a piano was made. I think I guessed this piano was made around 1910 before I looked at the tag that talks about the piano, and then I could tell when it was specifically made in 1917. And there you can see the serial number there. It's 185239. So if you feel like it, you can look that up online and give me an exact year. It should be 1917, and but if you're curious and you want to see for yourself, then you can look that up online and see that this piano was indeed made in 1917. Now this piano has been rebuilt. We have new action parts, newish strings, and I think it's been rebuilt several years ago, but it does have new strings, new action parts, and all new components inside of it, so it plays very, very nicely, and it has a really good sound. You can see here on the music desk, this is that really interesting grain pattern I was telling you about. It's not just horizontal grain pattern, it's also got these really neat vertical lines. These ones in this area really remind me of like ripples on water surface or something like that. And it's a really fascinating design. I can't say I've quite seen grain like that before in a piano. It's really cool. So now I'm going to play a couple of different songs on it for you. The first one I'm going to play is a piece that I wrote myself to test out pianos, and it starts off in the treble, it works its way down into the bass, and it's a pretty good example of what a piano sounds like, and I'm going to start off with that, and then I'm also going to play some Debussy Clair de Lune on this piano, because that sounds really nice on this piano. So let's start off with the composition. Now what I'm hearing in this piano is it has a very warm, resonant, rich sound, and particularly in the lower end of the piano, it has a very full-bodied, fat, rich sound. I love the bass end on this piano. It's really, really rich and deep, and it's surprisingly large sounding for a 7-foot piano, which this is. This is the Steinway B, it's their 7-foot model. So now I'm going to play some Clair de Lune on this piano because I really love the sympathetic resonance that this particular piano has. From piano to piano, they have different, different styles of sympathetic resonance. Sometimes a piano has a lot of sympathetic resonance. When you play a note, just all the other strings really come to life, and other times they don't. But this one has a lot of that, and Clair de Lune is a really great song to kind of express that. So I'm going to play that on this piano. This piano has a really great sound for its age, and it's awesome that it has the original soundboard because that preserves what the piano was and what it still is today. It's an absolutely fantastic instrument that I hope you guys have enjoyed. And if you like this video, you might want to go check out some of my other channels, my other videos. I've got lots of cool videos on pianos, on Steinways, and old Steinways, new Steinways, and kind of everything in between. And also, if you're curious as to where I found this instrument, I will put this store's information down in the description of this video. So if you're in this area, you might want to come by and check it out. This is a cool piano, and there's lots of other cool ones in this shop. So once again, if you liked this video, you might want to check out my channel, and if you liked those videos, you might want to think about subscribing, and if you do that, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.